All right, it's 2:03. We usually start right at 2:05, so a couple more minutes, and we'll get going. Some people can just listen to the audio and go and pass the exam the first time, but I think a lot of us, myself included, it's just such a difficult exam because it doesn't require, or it doesn't, I don't believe it assesses your knowledge of cybersecurity concepts and principles in the way that it
To
should.
be honest, I feel like all the certs are like that. Like, I think it's more about like knowing how to answer the types of questions and knowing the types of questions. Like, I'm just a bad test taker, man, in general. And I feel like that's not a good reflection on what you really know, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about vocabulary, and
Yeah, looking for words and all that. Yeah.
your ability to read a question and comprehend the true intention of that question. And they word it in such a way that a linguist, needs to, you need to be a master um, of the English language to be able to decipher or infer what the hell they really mean with that question. That to me is just.
I mean, they literally say that like people that are like lawyers or English like major like have English down as a study, that they actually pass the exam with no knowledge of cybersecurity,
Right.
like just based on being like a lawyer.
Right. I believe it. I believe it. But and then people who where English is their second language, they really struggle. But all that aside, even if it's not fair, regardless of how challenging it is, it's the gold standard. So, I just accepted that
Yeah.
if I've got to take it
No, I
20
agree.
times, then I'm going to take it 20 damn. I'm going to take out a loan and invest in my future. You know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And it's been a worthwhile investment. I'll tell you that. It has been the joy of my professional career in getting this certification and having that muscle. When you send your resume to a recruiter or anyone, that I mean, they you literally can take your resume and a suit and go anywhere in the English speaking world and get a job in weeks. The only question is how much, you know. So, all right, I've got 207. We'll go ahead if everyone can see my screen. We're going to go through 25 practice questions. For the new folks, I haven't seen these questions yet. None of us have seen them. But most of us, excuse me, most of us have gone through my boot camp, my online boot camp, using the course material that I created. Some folks didn't go through my boot camp, and they studied on their own. There are a couple of different resources out there that are really good, but the ISC squared common body of knowledge is the most authoritative source. It's just not a good read, but all the terms that we expect to see on this exam, you're not going to get from one source. So I encourage everyone, if you haven't read a whole CISSP book, go ahead and do that. I have audio content that you can listen to while you're commuting to and from work, if that's more convenient for you. But go through all the material and then come here with us, because I have this online quiz game on a system called Kahoot, where we can quiz your knowledge in a competitive way and get a spreadsheet printout afterwards that shows where you're weak and where you're strong, and then we go from that to doing these practice questions. And I think that this part right here is the most critical, because you can know those terms inside and out, but your ability to read a question and interpret the true intent of that question is what's paramount. So all 8 domains are in play here. I'll do this, start this test with assistance so that at the end we can go through each question and see what we got right, what we got wrong, and they have a, just like most other sources out there, an explanation of why, some answers are correct and some answers are wrong. But we don't care here about whether we pass. You don't care about passing practice questions. I see some people say, I'm not going to take the exam until I'm getting 80% or more on all practice exams. And that's just not a good metric, in my opinion, because you can't trust practice exam questions. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and get started. All I ask is I'll read out the question. You can read it on your own. I read it because I'm recording these sessions, and the folks that watch it on YouTube, while they're driving, it helps to have the question read out to them. But once you think you have an answer, don't blurt it out. Just announce that you're ready. Once we have 2 or 3 folks that are ready, then we'll go ahead and start announcing the answer and have a brief discussion about it. All right, question number 1. A hot site offers blank recovery with blank cost. And we've seen this one before. This is don't blurt out the answer. Just announce that you're ready, and we'll give everyone a chance to come up with their answer.
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, Ramana, what's your take?
Hey guys, hi Donald. I think the answer is number A,
Okay.
and also my name is Ramana. Just wanted to put it out there.
Okay,
Think of your ramen noodles during those good old college days.
Yeah, thank you so much. And because I'm recording these sessions, if anyone wants me to use an alias or don't want your name announced, go ahead and let me know. But yeah, so our first response here is Alpha A, suggesting that a hot site offers instant recovery with a high cost. Does anyone disagree? All right, no consent. Here we go, number 2. Number 2, locks are one form of boundary protection used in physical security, which is not true regarding locks. I've got some background noise. If everyone can go on mute, please, until you're ready to speak. Which is not true regarding physical locks.
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, whoever that was that announced they're ready, go ahead and give us your suggestion.
I think it's B.
I'm gonna say Bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking Charlie. So when I review questions, and especially on the exam, you're going to get 2 answers that you can eliminate easily, and then you're left with 2 answers. And when I took the exam, the couple of times that I took it, you could justify a reason for those remaining 2 answers. Both of them seemed to be right, and you had to select which one was more right. So I try to find the incorrect answers first. And Charlie, for me, should be used in combination with other controls. I'm not sure. This one is speaking to physical security. So yeah, I'll go ahead and eliminate that one. Most common and accepted. It's hard to eliminate 2 answers here. Anybody else have a suggestion?
I would say to eliminate the bottom 2, because I feel like those are true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think, just a lock by itself, from a CISSP perspective, it doesn't make sense to just use it. So a combination, I would eliminate that, and also the delay mechanism. But the hard to defeat mechanism is a clear thing that pops out where it says a lock is not a hard to defeat mechanism.
Okay. All right. We'll go with Bravo. And again, once we finish the 25 questions, we'll come back around and see the answers on the back end. Number 3, single sign-on systems have a main strength and a main weakness. Choose the best answer exposing this strength and weakness. Single sign-on systems.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
I think it's A.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick alpha.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else? Anyone disagree? All right, let's move on. Number 4, which of the following is the most common attack on DNS servers?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You guys are on it today. All right, go for it. Anyone?
It's A.
Alpha.
Yeah. DNS poisoning is a term I've heard quite often. I concur. Number 5, in a relational database, which of the following represents a relation?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Anybody else?
Ready.
All right, go for it.
B.
Yeah, I was gonna say B because I hadn't done it. It doesn't even make sense.
And why B?
Uh,
Databases have rows and columns.
yeah,
So
yeah, I see that as 2-dimension. So
So Don, don't you think a one dimension, couldn't that still have a row and column or no?
Yeah,
No.
and see, this one is speaking to a relational database. And what's key about relational databases is how
I think it's
one table relates to another table using the goodness, what's
primary key and the foreign key.
primary key and the foreign key. Which one is it though that allows two tables to relate to each other? There's one in
It's
particular.
the foreign key.
The foreign key. So if in one table you have social security numbers in column A, and then in another table you have social security number in column C or D or E. In the first table, the social security numbers are your primary key, but in the other table, column C, D, or E is your foreign key. And it's by use of the foreign key that you can relate that second table to the first table. So I think for that reason, I'm going to say two-dimensional.
Plus, another thing is when you say one dimension, it is more like measuring something. When I say dimension, think of it as an X and a Y axis.
Yeah.
And when they say third dimension, then you bring in like the Z axis, which can be the depth or something. So given the answers that are available over here, with the foreign key, it's one key that can relate, but then since all of them say tables, I'm thinking it's only a two-dimensional table.
So with a flat file table or flat file database, would you call that a one-dimensional?
Nope, there is no database that has one dimension.
Okay. All right. That's number 5. Let's go ahead and move on. Number 6, DCE is an authentication system that mirrors Kerberos in many ways. Who developed it? DCE, I've never heard of DCE. Definitely heard of Kerberos and Sesame. These are single sign-on technologies that provide single sign-on authentication.
Alrighty.
Ron Rivest developed the a cryptographic protocol. I can't recall.
The RSA.
RSA, yeah, there you go.
Dude, that's such like a bad question, honestly. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares who like developed it? You know, like it should be the application, you know, that matters.
All right, any good?
I would guess as
Go for it.
Microsoft.
A, because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, actually,
I feel like A2 for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah, something's
And
pulling
it-
me as well.
secret.
Yeah, so we'll learn something on the back end here. Number 7, during a recovery procedure, one important step is to maintain records of important events that happen during the procedure. What other step is just as important? Maintaining records of important events. What else is just as important during a recovery procedure? Make sure someone's prepared to talk to the media.
I'm ready. It's a guess.
Yeah, me too. I can.
All right, go for it.
Charlie.
Yeah, I think Charlie as well.
Yeah, I would go for Charlie or.
I agree. We'll see on the back end. Number 8, an off-site information processing facility.
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, go for it.
Alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah, definitely alpha. This can't be anything other than alpha. I just did a site survey at a primary facility and an alternate processing facility, and
I've seen this in the deforest mapping.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which domain addresses this question, the previous question that we just talked about? Is that number 1 about risk management? Or is this coming under security?
I don't think it's number 1. I think it might be security operations, domain number 7.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, when we're taking the exam, we're not going to know what domain. We may have an idea, but I think this one deals with or comes from domain number 7. All right, number 9, employees are told that the use of email can only be used for business purposes and their activities will be monitored. Violations will result in a verbal warning, then a written warning, and finally termination. What type of control is the company implementing?
Ready.
Yeah, I think this is a layup. Go for it.
Ready.
A.
Yeah, A.
Anybody disagree? All right. Number 10, why should user IDs be included in data captured by auditing procedures? User ID.
I'm ready.
Ready.
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
It's B.
B.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I use this phrase ID, author or identification, authentication, and then authorization. You present your username as an ID that's unique only to you. You prove that you are that unique individual with authentication. Then you're in the system. Then you have permissions that allow you, that authorize you to access different resources, either on a system or in a building.
And also this one is a part of the AAA model, where it's authentication, authorization, and accountability. So the accountability for non-repudiation is what this addresses.
Yep. Yeah, and that AAA, some people say authentication, authorization, and auditing, but it also can stand for accountability. Auditing, it provides the same, provides accountability. And I always say that AAA, they left out identification, right? Should be identification, authentication, authorization, and then accountability. But somebody in marketing must have liked the fact that they could have 3 A's and not have that I in there. But you definitely want unique identification. All right, number 11. Bob has successfully tested his enterprise's business continuity plan in various ways, and now is tasked with performing the most rigorous test to assure its viability. Which of the following will provide this?
I'm ready.
Most rigorous test. All right. Yeah, I think this is a layup. Go for it.
It's D.
Absolutely. Full interruption. It's the greatest risk when you do this because once you cut off your primary site and bring up operations in your alternate site, you may discover issues, but it's better to discover those issues when the sun is shining and you've got time to usually people do it over the weekend. You don't want to have to do this failover from primary to alternate when there's an incident taking place, and you don't want to be discovering new things then. All right, number 12, ARP broadcasts messages on the network to find what?
I'm ready.
Pretty easy. All right, go for it.
I'm ready.
B.
Yeah, bravo.
All right, so DNS resolves IP to MAC. Is that a correct statement? ARP resolves MAC to IP.
Yeah,
So
that was a similar we had the other day.
So if we broadcast a message using ARP, are we trying to find the IP address or the MAC address?
I suck at domain 4, so
I'm pretty sure that it's DNS with the IP, TCP, and then the
Yeah,
DNS.
we're MAC trying to locate the IP, I think. Wait, I'm getting confused now.
So DNS resolves IP to MAC address. So in that case, you would know the IP and you're trying to find the MAC address. ARP, you know the MAC and you're trying to find the IP. Is my understanding. So in this one, I would think we're on the network we're trying to find the IP address.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking the other way.
Well, we'll see. I'm not a networking guy, but we'll see. Number 13, what is the term used to describe the systematic evaluation of the exchange points between a graphical data system and the system's user? Systematic evaluation of the exchange points between a graphical data system and the system's user.
There's only one that doesn't fit.
All right, what do you got?
I'm going for D.
Yeah, whenever they talk about testing and they mention users, it usually deals with how they interface with the system and what the graphical displays that they see and what they click on. And if you're testing their interface, you're seeing what happens when they select the options that are available to them.
I work for a software company, so it's definitely.
Okay. Awesome. All right, number 14, the have all algorithms perform what function? Have all. I don't have my, I've got these muscle memory charts. As a matter of fact, I'm going to run up and grab my book real quick. You guys talk about this one if you want. I'll be right back in just a minute.
I'm ready, and I'm guessing. I think it's encryption. Because I've even seen this one before.
I was thinking more on the lines of hashing.
Yeah, it's either hashing or encryption, but I know digital signature and key distribution that it can't be those. Yeah, it might be hashing, but I haven't seen hashing algorithm.
So while Don is going and getting his things, how long have you all been preparing for this? I just got out of my boot camp class, so it's been 5 days. And thank you, Stephen, for sending me that link. I really appreciated this. Instead of trying to deal with this as a one person, this group setting is much more better. I feel a little better in this format of learning.
Yeah, I'm actually starting my own meetup because I told you I'm knocked out until October. I failed 3 times. Now I only have 11 months of experience. So I almost passed it twice and I went to question 150. So a lot of these questions are like, I can narrow it down, but I still get messed up on the real thing because real thing is no joke. You have to make decisions. You got to know why the other 3 are wrong. That's my best advice for whoever's going for this, because I come from like 11 months experience and I do more of the technical side, the real thing, running the business.
All right, we have a consensus on this one.
We said A or D. That's what I can narrow down to 2.
So I'm bringing up my muscle memory chart for domain number 3. Give me just a second here. I want to show it real quick. I don't think I have. So this one say how outperform what function. I need to see if I have Halval, and I don't think I do. So this is a case where, I encourage folks, if you don't have these muscle memory charts, send me an email, and I can get it to you. But I always recommend that people have up these muscle memory charts when you're going through practice questions, so you can check to see if the information is correct. Yeah, and I don't have all. So that's one I want to add on here. So what guesses do we have?
I'm still going for, I guess, A.
Yeah, I'm going to take the H and have all to mean hashing. Cryptographic algorithms, asymmetric cryptographic algorithms can perform 4 objectives of cryptography: confidentiality, integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. Those 4 things. Symmetric key algorithms can only provide confidentiality. So hashing provides integrity, and we'll take a guess on that one. Key distribution, most asymmetric algorithms are used for key distribution. You'll use a symmetric algorithm to encrypt your message. You'll use an asymmetric key to encrypt the symmetric key for key distribution. Digital signatures, you need to sign, you need to hash your message and then encrypt it with your private key in order to generate a digital signature. And then encryption provides confidentiality. All right, number 15, 2 or more organizations with similar or identical system configurations and backup technologies may enter into a formal agreement to serve as alternate sites for each other or enter into a joint contract for an alternate site. Which of the following best describes this setup?
Ready.
Layup, what do you got?
I think MOU.
Yeah, that's what I was going for too. Here's the others.
Anybody else?
Don, can you just give me 1 second? I just want to read this again.
Okay.
Hey, Donald, how are you? I joined late.
Hey there. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm on Central Time. That's why I screwed up and got late. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, we meet on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday is usually at 12 Eastern Standard Time. But just so you guys know, I just secured a training facility, so we may start doing these Saturday sessions in Tyson's Corner. So if you're in the area, you can come join us in person, but we'll still do it online if
Cool.
everyone needs to.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that does sound great.
Okay. All right, Tim, you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
What do you think?
I'm thinking Bravo, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and for me, it's Bravo, because this is two companies. Now, I gave the example last time that I was at the Hoffman building when 9/11 happened, and there were organizations at the Pentagon that had a reciprocal agreement with the Hoffman building, and some of their users came over and sat with us and used up our shared archival space with us. But I think the word reciprocal is definitely in the answer. I'm used to seeing a reciprocal agreement, but I think I'll go ahead and accept reciprocal memorandum here. And I think they're using that word memorandum to throw us off with Alpha and Charlie. But I'll take the bullet for this one if it's wrong. All right, number 16. An OLTP database ensures that no transactions are finalized until all connected systems have synchronized. Is employing what function? Yeah, I think we've seen this one or something similar to it in the past. And this, related to databases, this is those asset properties. And because of that, we thought isolation.
Yeah, I remember that, Don. It turned out to be two-phase.
We thought it was isolation, but we were wrong.
Yeah, I think it's two-phase.
Yep, I think it's the two-phase only because of the last word, commit.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody disagree? We'll go there. And I'll tell you guys, I've been watching back on the other practice question sessions that we've done, and it really helps a lot. I really encourage. I'm posting these things up on YouTube, and I'll start sending the links out to the meetup group. But yeah, I listen to them when I'm riding around in the car, and it really helps. All right, number 17. What is the main drawback of endpoint data leak prevention, ELDP? I have no idea.
Take a guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it
I'm kind of thinking Bravo myself, mainly because if you have endpoint encryption, or if you have hard drive encryption on an endpoint, it would make it difficult once the data got to that endpoint. But I'm really not sure of the true intention of this question.
Yeah, you could be right, because this is data loss or data leak prevention. I know we have at my place, and it's supposed to prevent like people from like transferring stuff to USBs and stealing stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Correct, but the word drawback is where it is throwing me off, and I'm thinking complexity.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if it's
I
difficult
completely agree.
or if it's you could be right about the encryption thing too.
No, I like that point. I'm switching to Delta complexity.
I agree with the encryption. Encryption is what is going to say it's going to provide data leak prevention or EDLP. But what is the drawback or
Right.
encryption is what they're asking for.
Yeah, so you can have all kind of security mechanisms in place, but you know, like you said earlier, if somebody uses a USB drive or something, takes the data out of there, the complexity of the different media and methods of. I mean, someone can bring something up on a screen and take a picture of it with their smartphone, you know. All right, number 18, which of the following refers to the assessment of a system by someone with no advanced knowledge of how it was designed or implemented? Layup.
Ready.
Ready.
No advanced knowledge. Go for it.
Hey.
See.
Wait. Actually, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Charlie.
I don't know how I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Quick.
You have no knowledge. White box means you have a lot of knowledge. Gray box means you have little or just some knowledge. Number 19, one of the following is not an example of a domain. Choose the correct answer. Not an example of a domain.
Hey, Donald, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Where are you getting the multiple choice answers from? Because all I have is the Meetup app. I don't have anything else. Are we doing Cahoots?
No, we're on my GoToMeeting link. So in the Meetup email, the location should have provided a GoToMeeting link, and I'm sharing my screen with everyone.
Okay, all right. All I got was I got the link, but all it gave me was the dial in. I got you. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it now. I don't want to interrupt what you're doing because it's almost over. I'm just going to sit and listen.
Okay. All right. I'll send out when I'm going to edit a bit and prepare an MP4 file of this session that'll
Okay.
you'll be able to see everything. I'll send that out later.
Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready.
Go for it.
Going with A.
Yeah, I'm going for A or B, but I'm not sure.
So domain will include. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say I picked B, Bravo.
So a domain, I mean, and this is a loose use of the term domain, is going to include subjects and objects, right? Objects are passive entities that or subjects that are active entities can gain access to to see different resources. So which one of these does not represent something that can maintain subjects and objects? Service for Bravo, services, processes, hard drive space. Loosely, Charlie, ACL's firewall, security tunnel, definitely I think that one applies. Delta printers, computers, file servers, I definitely think that one applies. I'm going to have to go with alpha here. Memory, page file, and processes, I don't think are directly related to subjects and objects. Anyone else have anything with respect to this one?
Yeah, I think you're right, because I was thinking in terms of like Active Directory and all this OU stuff, and then that's where I was going with this, and then.
Yeah, and that Active Directory is just a container for subjects and objects, right? You'll list a bunch of attributes about your objects and your subjects. You'll define access between subjects and objects, and you'll manage all of that, all the permissions and authorizations. But we'll see on the back end. All right, number 20, how far should portable fire extinguishers be located from electrical equipment? Wow, this is
D.
definitely.
I'm ready.
So let me pull up my muscle memory chart here again real quick. And we've got fire suppression. I don't think I have anything in my muscle memory chart that speaks to that, so I need to add something that speaks to that. Fire classes. I don't have anything there. Yeah, no, I don't have anything in my muscle memory chart that addresses distance like that. I heard Bravo.
Yeah, I'm going for Bravo too. I feel like I've seen it somewhere.
Good enough guess for me. Number 21, which of the following statements is correct regarding the designated retention period for data? Designated retention period for data.
It's A.
Ready.
Anybody else?
It's Alpha. I don't know if you heard me or not.
Yeah, yep. Does anybody disagree?
Okay.
But I'm sorry, what was that?
He said alpha A. Does anyone think anything else?
I was thinking C.
I was thinking C too, because this is like something you're supposed to follow policy, right? Depending on your company policy or
And also they included a subject matter expert.
Now I'm thinking delta because I'm not aware of anything that would specify this. This is an organization specific a length of time that an organization has at their discretion to define based on the type of information you have.
right.
Donald, you're right, but then depending on the operation or their business, they could be coming under either HIPAA, PHI, or let's say if they're doing credit cards, PCI DSS. So there they have to go by the regulations.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure about HIPAA and PCI DSS, but I know that FISMA and the RMF, they'll have a security controls that says an organization defined period of time for things like this. They don't specify what that period of time is, but they require that an organization define what that period of time should be. I'm sorry, somebody was going to say something.
I was just going to say that it's Alpha because the federal government requires 7 years of data if it's financially based. So I was always taught that you go with the longest period of time that you're going to have regulatory constraints, and that's why I picked Alpha. And the reason why it's 7 years is because it's 7 years until the IRS can no longer request financial information or subpoena financial information from a bank on a particular customer.
All right. We'll go ahead and go with that one and see what happens on the back end.
Okay.
I like your explanation. All right, number 22. Which of the following statements with respect to physical surveillance systems is the most important to consider when deploying them? Physical surveillance. Got some background noise from someone.
There was a dog barking here. I don't know if that's what you meant.
No, I hear some rubbing. I can see who's green. Steve.
I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
I think it's B. It's either B or C, I think. I don't know which one.
I think it's B too. That's what I was looking at.
And then I read C, but I had to review the question. I think it says deploying, so I feel like C was right too, but they're talking about most consideration when deploying them.
Yeah, I think I like Charlie as well. They're talking about physical surveillance. So that would be cameras and closed captioning TV. So camera placement, field of depth, and vision, I think would be most important here.
I would think Charlie Don, and the only reason I say that is because I've heard of like monitoring the cameras as a form of shoulder surfing, like you know what I mean, social engineering, like monitoring the actual cameras and where they are.
Yeah, and the site survey that I just did, this place had a bunch of monitors up, and they had a security guard there to monitor those screens. But of course, nobody can monitor all those screens. So they had motion detection to sound a silent alarm that would trigger the guard to look at a particular screen. Um, yeah, I think we're torn between Bravo and Charlie. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Bravo here and attempt.
Charlie's definitely right too, but they're talking about you got to look at the question.
Yeah.
So, which is most important to consider when deploying.
All right.
Well, and I just finished installing a surveillance system for a restaurant, and they wanted 100% coverage, and we wound up putting in 26 cameras, and there was not an inch of the place that you couldn't go from point A to point B without catching a camera somewhere.
Right.
It was kind of crazy. That's why I think it's B.
Field and depth of vision. Okay. All right. We'll see on the back end. Thanks. Number 23, Paul has been handed 2 different smart cards and is told that one is a combi card and one is a hybrid card. What is the difference between the two?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, we've seen one similar to this, but this one's different.
Actually, I think it's Charlie.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I think I agree. Anyone else? All right, we'll see. Number 24, in the software capability maturity model, which of the following is not a defined maturity level?
I'm ready. We had this one the other day.
We've seen this one already. Go ahead.
It's D.
Delta. Oriented is not. Repeatable, managed, and defined are CMM levels. Oriented is not. All right, number 25. What are the 2 general types of wireless proximity identification devices? Wireless proximity identification.
I'm ready. I'm just gonna guess.
All right, go for it.
I think it's either C or D because I think of like key fobs and stuff, and you got to be near it, so can't be A.
I was thinking D.
Yeah, I was thinking B, Bravo.
Actually,
I was going with Delta.
That's a wide range of answers. I was actually thinking it was D as well.
yeah, I'm leaning towards D myself because it's a wireless proximity. Proximity means that you're not going to be swiping anything once you come within a certain, distance of something, within proximity to something. But user activated, what exactly does that mean? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what confused me too.
System sensing, definitely in Delta. In Bravo, I don't like swipe card. I don't think that's one. I don't like Alpha biometric device. Although wireless proximity, once you preset devices.
I was thinking the user activated, like, you know how the infrared thing that reflects off of a person when they're in proximity.
Yeah.
I can get it. I'm taking a guess.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's go ahead and go with Delta, and we'll see how we did. We came close. Not too bad. 76% of just 25 questions is not that bad. So let's go ahead and review our results. Alpha, so number one was a layup. A hot site is expensive. Offers instant recovery. Number two, physical locks are hard or not considered hard to defeat. Locks are considered easy to defeat devices because special tools can be used to break them. I have a STEM program for kids from 10 to 18, and I have them sign a waiver saying that they won't use their knowledge for bad activity. But I show them how to defeat physical locks, and it's the funnest thing they do in the class.
I have a friend that's a locksmith. He used to always tell me that locks are for honest people. That's all he said. So
All right. I went to my very first capture the flag competition. One of the challenges was to open a padlock with 2 paper clips. That was the only one I got right. The only one I defeated. All right, number 3, single sign-on systems. What's the strength and weakness? That was pretty easy. Number 4, when an attacker corrupts a DNS server by changing the host to IP relationship, that's called DNS poisoning. Most common DNS server attack. We guessed this one right. Relational database. Which of the following represents a relation two-dimensional? A relation is the foundation of a relational database represented by a two-dimensional table, rows and columns. Yeah, we guessed this one right too. What the heck did we get wrong then? Open Group developed the Distributed Computing Environment (DCE) standard that is very similar to Kerberos. This one deals with recovery procedure. Report the event to management. So when recovery procedures are carried out, the outcome of those procedures should be reported to the individuals who are responsible for this type of activity. Should have the same degree. Yeah, so an offsite versus, so a primary functioning facility versus a alternate processing site or offsite. An offsite information processing facility should have the same amount of physical control as the originating site or primary site. Goodness, we got everything right so far. Directive controls, also known as administrative controls, issue rules and policies that must be followed to avoid a form of punishment. This one, establishing individual accountability. So for auditing purposes, the procedure should capture user ID, time of event, type of event, and source of workstation. User ID makes individuals accountable for their actions. You don't want a shared user account because someone could go in and you don't know who went in at that time and did what. Full interruption test actually halts data processing at the primary facility, forcing an actual migration to the alternate site. Yeah, so this is the most aggressive, most risky. Well, I think that was Steve. You're right on this one.
Yeah, but I liked your explanation because, like I said, when you do the arptech command, and
So let's see what they say here. The ARP knows the IP address of a device and broadcasts messages in order to find the MAC address. I thought IP knew, I mean DNS knew the IP, and so DNS knows the MAC and looks for the IP, whereas ARP knows the IP and looks for the MAC.
I think you got that confused. DNS is a domain name, so it should be host name. So
Yeah.
like if you go to
host name to IP. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I sure did. All right.
So what sends the ARP out? Is it the switches?
Yeah, it should be the MAC address for the devices like your computer. If you're trying to look for the IP address, or actually, wait. What was it?
It's
I don't have Windows.
opposite of DNS. DNS is host name. If you know the host that you're trying to find, you can put in the host and it'll find the IP, because it's going to be easy for you to remember names and hard for you to remember numbers, the IP address number. So DNS, you can put in the host name, it'll find the IP. The opposite of that, if you know the IP address, you can put that in, and then ARP will find the associated MAC address or host name. So ARP broadcasts messages on the network to find what? ARP would know the IP address, and it's trying to find the MAC address. That's one we could have gotten right. This one here, interface testing. Interface testing is a systematic evaluation of the data exchange points between a user and a software program's graphical user interface. That was pretty easy. Number 14, we guessed right again. The Haval algorithm is a single-purpose algorithm that performs one-way hashing functionality. Does anybody know what it means to say a one-way hashing function?
Because it does not include any hashing itself is one way, only for integrity.
So when you hash,
and it doesn't work with other mechanisms like the session keys or anything else.
when you hash a message, it generates a hash value or message digest number. It's a one-way function because every time you run that message through that hashing algorithm, it's going to give you that digest. You don't then unhash to get something. You just perform that one function, hash to get that message digest, send the message over. That the receiver then runs the same hashing function. And if they get the same digest value, then you know the message hasn't changed. Whereas with cryptography, if you encrypt the message, you send it over, you then decrypt it. That's a two-way function, but hashing is a one-way function. You just hash to get that message digest, and that's it. Oh, wow, you guys are right about this one too. Reciprocal agreement. I was absolutely sure about that. Two or more organizations with similar identical system configurations and backup technologies may enter into a formal agreement to serve as alternate sites for each other, or enter into a joint contract for an alternate site. This type of site is set up via a reciprocal agreement or memorandum of understanding. See, that's not right.
See, you said reciprocal agreement.
agree.
But I know I've never seen reciprocal memorandum before in any resource I've used.
I've only seen MOUs, never a reciprocal memorandum.
Yeah, it's always
seen RAs.
Yeah, RA.
So that's kind of wild.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like this question for that reason, but it's good to see that a reciprocal agreement is the same as a memorandum of understanding. A MOU is a very broad for me. Any type of agreement not just whether we're going to share an offsite agreement, could be could be represented in a memorandum of understanding. I thought for two organizations to share an offsite facility was more specific to reciprocal agreement than just an MOU. But hey, these are practice questions, right? All right. OLT, yeah, we got this one right. One of OLTP's security controls is utilizing a two-phase commit function, which generates or guarantees that no transaction is finalized until all systems and databases involved in the transaction are fully synchronized. And we guessed this one right too. Endpoint data lake, number 17. Endpoint data leak protection benefits from being able to inspect data prior to outbound encryption, making it harder to evade. However, the scale of the number of points of presence necessarily makes it a very complex technology to deploy. Number 18 was a layup. Black box testing refers to the assessment of a system by someone with no prior knowledge of how it was designed or constructed. We guessed this one wrong. Goodness. Number 19, a domain is really just a set of resources that are available to a subject. And those resources could be are objects. Remember that a subject can be a user, process, or application. Those are active entities. Within an operating system, a process has a domain, which is the system resource that are available to the process to carry out its tasks. I don't know how I feel about this one either. Which one of the following is not an example of domain? AC access control list, or not a part of a domain? Security kernel is not a part of a domain. I don't know if I agree with that one. In a physical network environment, a domain is a set of physical and logical resources that are available in a computer, file system, FTP service, web server, etc. Access control lists, firewalls, and security kernels are security agents that are used to enforce the boundaries of domains. Okay, so that's their key point there.
But then wouldn't the printers, computers, and file servers that you're accessing over a domain, they would be, your level of access will depend on ACLs.
Yeah, so the ACLs and security kernel would enforce your access to those objects, those system resources. So, I mean, I think I see their point here. Processes, services, hard drive space, printers, computers, those are all resources. Those can all be considered objects that subjects can access. And then the ACLs, firewalls, and security kernel enforce a subject's access to those objects. I don't like it, but I'll accept it. Yeah, we guess this one right. Number 20, portable extinguishers should be placed within 50 feet of electrical equipment. Was that Stephen?
Yeah, because I was actually in the Navy and we do a lot of shipboard firefighting, and I was the damage control person. I've seen this somewhere.
I taught a CISS boot camp in San Diego at a Navy location, and when it came to fire extinguishers and fire suppression systems, man, I've never seen a group that understood those topics better, ever.
Yeah, I tried to do it.
Yeah. All right. Which of the following, number 21, statements is correct regarding the designated retention period for data? Okay, yeah, somebody did say requirements may vary, so consult an attorney.
Yeah, me and my mom, because I know this one because usually you follow the or the company's policy, but usually there's a compliance officer, but they're also not attorneys. This is why I selected C
Okay.
because you.
I went
Okay.
with C too because it had a subject matter expert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like the.
I'm surprised.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just surprised. I'm surprised. That's all.
Yeah. I don't.
But
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was just going to say I'm coming from a banking background, and I mean it was a hard ceiling of 7 years for everything we did,
Yeah.
and that wasn't company policy. That was regulators. That's why I picked it. But obviously I'm wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, I would think that the data owner would do this, not necessarily an attorney, but okay. So they say laws regarding records retention exist and must be adhered to, but vary by jurisdiction. Consequently, legal counsel should be consulted to ensure compliance.
Hmm.
Number 22. Oh, I thought we were pretty
Wrong
sure.
about that one too.
That was a Tim, right?
I had
Yeah.
yeah.
I just saw it like the other day, the stuff about the shoulder surfing, the cameras.
So no matter how advanced or intelligent any automated surveillance or monitoring system may become, it will always be prone to some degree of false alerts, either positive or negative. The value of any such system always hinges on its ability to provide data to the human operators who are sufficiently skilled to interpret the events the system detects and records. All right.
Hmm.
So when in doubt, I'm going to start listening to Tim.
Wow. Okay. So we've determined that as soon as I joined the conversation, we've lost out on all the answers. All right. Great.
Yeah, it's all your fault. It's all your
Well,
fault.
at least I'm happy to take that honor.
All right, a variation of a contact and a contactless smart card is referred to as a hybrid or combi smart card. The hybrid cards have a dual chip in them, which with the capability of utilizing both the contact formats and the contactless antenna model. They both have an antenna to be able to work in contactless mode. The Combi Smart Card has the same capability, but just one chip. Good grief. Okay.
Don, that's a security plus question, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It is.
That's very technical, and technical about a specific technology that I don't know if should be relevant for CISSP, but okay. Um, so the software capability maturity model, this one was a layup. The 5 defined maturity levels of the CMMI are initial, repeatable, defined, managed, and optimizing. This all relates to developing um, formal processes for how an organization performs their business, documenting those processes, managing, excuse me, managing the implementation of those processes, and then developing or making them mandatory, the implementation of those documented processes, and then measuring them and defining metrics to measure the performance of those business processes. A lot of companies get CMMI certified to show that they have repeatable processes. All right, what are two general types of wireless proximity identification devices? Number 25, we guessed right on this one. A user-activated system requires a user to do something such as swipe the card. Why swipe the card with the proximity? Through the reader and or enter a code. That is not proximity to me.
That's two-part authentication.
Yeah, but the question says wireless proximity identification.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I thought you didn't have to swipe. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought it would be you enter into a certain range and it, you know, within a certain proximity of the reader, and then something automatically happens. A system sensing device will recognize the presence of the card and communicate with it without the user needing to carry out any activity. That to me is a proximity device. So I don't like this question. I always tell people, you know, trust your mental picture. If your mental picture disagrees with something, and I disagree with this one, my mental picture disagrees with this one, I'm going to stick with my mental picture on this one. So, all right, guys, I'll create an MP4 of this, post it to YouTube, and send you guys a link. But for those who join late, we're going to start doing the Saturday sessions at I got a training facility in Tyson's Corner. So we'll meet there. For anybody that can meet in person, we can meet there, but we'll still have the online capability for those who have to join remotely. And if anybody else has access to a conference room or training facility, let me know. All right. I'm always looking for different places to host a meetup and do other types of training. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. Enjoy your rest of your weekend.
All right, Don. Take it easy.
Appreciate it, Don. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. What time does it start?
Yeah,
we go on Thursdays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern time for an hour. And then Saturdays, we usually start at 12 noon Eastern time. I had to push it back to 2 o'clock today, but yeah, we usually start at 12 noon on Saturday.
Okay, sorry, I'm in Houston, so I received the wrong time. So okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
All right,
see you next time.
Bye, Don.
All right,
take care. Hey, Donald, before you go, you got a second?
Yeah.
Did you see
sure.
that Mercedes? Did you see that F1 Mercedes hit the manifold?
Oh yeah, no, that was Williams.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Man.
Yeah. That you know that's all because Charlie Whiting passed away at the beginning of the season. If Charlie Whiting were still here, that wouldn't have happened.
Really?
Yeah, he was the sport. He made sure that stuff like that, that you know, no track had any kind of, and then the support truck that's carrying the car back to the garage hits the doggone overpass. Embarrassing.
Wow.
Embarrassing.
I saw that. I was like, I'm a big F1 fan myself. I haven't been able to watch it as much in the last few years, but I just thought it was cool that you liked F1 too. And I was like, cool, I've got somebody I can actually talk to about it now, because none of my friends are interested in it at all. I'm like alone in my own little island here.
Yep. Same here.
So
Same here.
Anyway.
Have you been to a race?
I know you got more. Do what?
Have you been to a race?
Yeah, I used to go to the Dallas Grand Prix all the time.
Okay.
But they stopped doing that many years ago. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, my brother and I we go to Austin. They have a race in Austin, Texas now.
Yes.
So we go there every year. We go to Canada. We didn't go last year, but we usually go to that one every year. He went to Abu Dhabi. So yeah, I'll let you know.
Holy crap, he's definitely into it. Did I send you that video of the of Renault turning that minivan into a F1 racer?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I'll send it to you in an email. You got to at least watch it. It is so cool.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
All right. Thanks. I know I have things to do. Talk to you later.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. See you guys.
Hey, Donald. This is Ramana. I just sent you a message. So I work in Baltimore, and I have access to conference rooms back there.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and with smart board technology.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
are you familiar with the Baltimore area?
I go to the harbor from time to time,
Oh
but
yeah,
not too familiar.
this is right outside of the Baltimore Inner Harbor.
Okay.
It's in the Montgomery Wards building. It's a big white building that you won't be able to miss.
Okay.
So for anybody who's coming from south, it's easy to access. Exit is right there, and there's ample parking if you have
Awesome.
to do it on weekend or after hours.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, Donald. I came up with one last question.
Okay.
What software are you using for the practice questions?
It's an online test bank that was provided by one of my boot camp attendees. It's called Total Testers Training Hub.
Okay. Total Testers. I thought I'd go and see if I could get a copy of it to work with.
Okay. Yeah.
See how
Actually,
good.
let me see if I can bring up the link. Yeah, hub.totalsem.com, and you have to register for an account. Now, I'll tell you, these questions are very similar to the CD that's in the back of the Sean Harris all-in-one training guide.
Oh, I've got that, and I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the format.
It's actually very good. I just thought maybe it was old and outdated. I didn't know.
No, yeah, no, that, let's see, the latest version of that one I have is the 7th edition with Sean Harris and Fernando Mimey.
Yeah.
Who,
they have come up with the 8th edition, Donald, and I have that.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Okay, they're up to an 8th edition.
The one that I have does not have the CD, but there is some information about where you can get access to the digital content.
Okay.
I haven't tried it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the instructor that I went for my boot camp, she was like, yeah, this is a lot of reading material, so you can read it at leisure.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, you guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to y'all later.
All righty. Take care.
All right.
Thanks, John. Bye-bye.
Donald, can you also send me the your muscle memory charts? I just in the chat window I dropped my email address.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I've got it. Okay, yeah.
And do you have some sort of like a Google Drive or something there where you have your other materials? And if you could share that, that'll be helpful too.
Yeah, I have a Dropbox account that I use. And actually, I post the audio of the content that I've developed. I sell it online, and I've got over 1 million downloads. Definitely not to say that I used to offer it for free. So I got over 1 million downloads before I started to charge a $1 per
Okay.
you know. So I haven't.
Or even if you want to send me the link to where I can download it, I don't mind paying.
Okay.
That's fine. It'd be a good thing to hear while I'm driving.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the best. You know, I learn better by listening. I have to read the content, take notes on it, and then I need read my notes into an audio form, and then listen to them, as back and forth, during different things, and that's how the information really sinks in for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll send you a link here shortly.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Donald.
Okay.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.